energetic audience today. Could we hear you? Last month, Ivy Tech hosted its third annual Innovation Day Challenge, where our faculty and staff brought ideas forward to focus on significant positive change for the college. Presentations were made in a Shark Tank style with a panel of judges that included industry, higher education, and community leaders. More than 35 initial proposals were submitted, and an internal team of coaches narrowed that field to 12 finalists who were asked to present in person to the judges. First, congratulations and thank you to all those who presented. I can assure you that our Shark Tank judges asked some tough questions, but our presenters were well prepared and presented their pitches well. We selected 3 third-place winners this year whose campuses will receive $5,000 each towards implementing their ideas. Those include Leanne Recton from the Lawrenceburg campus. Come on, shout out Lawrenceburg. For her pitch for crowdsourcing innovation. Lois Weiss from the Muncie campus for her pitch on the Ivy Care package program. Yay, Muncie. And Barbara Redelman from the Evansville campus for her pitch about prepping a pack of physiology participants. Come on, Evansville. Our second place winner is Carmen Burrell from the Columbus campus for her, for her pitch about a weather balloon for STEM engagement. The Columbus campus will receive $10,000 to support the weather balloon liftoff, pun intended. Our first place winner with the grand prize of $15,000 for their campus is Kathleen Kravitz and Kate Pantinas from Valparaiso with their pitch entitled Lightboard, Creating Beautiful Video Lectures. Come on, Valpo. So that pitch is that instructors can establish an engaging, there's pictures up here, an engaging and dynamic online learning environment using Lightboard technology to record beautiful video lectures. A Lightboard is a plane of glass with embedded LED lights that allow an instructor to write and draw on the glass while facing the video camera to record short video lectures so that they actually flip the text. Again, congratulations to our winners. Thank you all for your extra work to develop these ideas. You can learn more about Innovation Day and view these pitches from our first, second, and third place winners at the Innovation Day website. So last night at the Student Success Summit, we announced the winners of our annual Academic Advising Awards. Effective advising is essential to the academic success of our students. Okay, let's give it up for advisors. It is essential. Effective advising is essential, so the best advising connects students to something bigger than themselves, confirms that others have a stake in the student's success, and provides a path to graduation and beyond. These awards seek to recognize and reward individuals who provide exceptional advising and student retention. So, congratulations to our winners. Health and Nursing from Indianapolis received the Advising Program Award. Give it up. Kara Reeder, Disability Support Services from Bloomington, received the Friend of Advising Award. Michelle Basiak-Cartez from Valparaiso received the New Advisor Award. Deborah Whitney from Indianapolis and Joshua Farrington from Marion received the Faculty Advisor Awards. And Holly Nichols from Batesville and Bridget Phillips from Valparaiso received the Veteran Advisor Awards. Let's give it up for all. And with all of those who were recognized, please stand up and we're going to give you one more big round of applause. And you're here. Come on up. Stand up. Come on. And, of course, the second part of our awards last night were to announce our Adjunct Faculty Award winners and the Lampkin winner. The college selects adjunct faculty members from each campus across the state to receive the Adjunct Faculty Award for excellence in instruction. of the nominees, one is chosen to receive the Gerald I. Lampkin Award for Excellence in Instruction. Named after esteemed Ivy Tech president, the Lampkin Award recognizes an adjunct faculty member who exhibits excellence in instruction and represents the mission of the college. I'm so pleased to announce the winner this year was David Coley. David, are you here? That Fort Wayne group, they kidnapped him. Okay, they took him up. Okay, adjunct faculty in agriculture from the Fort Wayne campus. David joined Ivy Tech in 2015 and says his approach to teaching is relational. He believes students are thirsty for knowledge and encourages them to take the information they learn in class and apply it in real life. Congratulations to David and to all of our adjunct faculty award winners. So we've had an exciting time at the Student Success Summit. Our opening keynote yesterday was Dr. Greg Williams, president of Odessa College, and Tamara Clunas, the vice president of academic affairs from Amarillo College, joined him. And we heard so much about how do we really, really lean in to student success and how do we help the students we have be successful, and a little bit about why in the world did they do 8-week courses, and how has that worked out, and why is it working, and where are they going next? I know we all had lots to learn. We also had Teresa Lovers on the panel, our Commissioner of Higher Education, to really talk about the state's commitment to Ivy Tech and the challenges we have and how we move forward together. So we are privileged. Now today, we also had some great breakouts, but we started the day with an amazing keynote from Mary Murphy, Dr. Mary Murphy from IU on growth mindset, really growth mindset 2.0, and the latest research which we can all benefit from and continue to bring that to becoming a growth mindset institution overall, so our students can have the best outcomes and achieve all they're capable of achieving. So we've got the mics around, so you heard some of my thoughts. This is your chance to share back with colleagues across the state. What are your takeaways from this year's conference? And I see Sarah and Megan. Do you have the other ones? That's okay. We've got 2 things, and we're going to scan the crowd. So share with your colleagues back at home, those that didn't get to join you here, what were your takeaways?
Ivan Hernandez from Lafayette. I think I got a better understanding on the faculty side of some of the issues dealing with the 8-week courses, which allows me to discuss that with the rest of the community, our partners, things like that.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Other insights that you're going to take back with you? Here we go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Natasha Wickenheiser from the Bloomington campus. And the idea that's really resonated with me the last day was the idea of trust. And we know that it takes a village to get students in our doors and onto whatever their next path is. And just that we really are a fantastic village, and that when we all trust in each other, we really can just do phenomenal things, and we can help our students do phenomenal things. And so that idea of trust and trusting each department and our colleagues and ourselves and our students has just really spoken to me, and I hope that that resonates with others as well.
Thank you. And I love that you said in the last few days, doesn't it feel like this was an action-packed? How many great 20-some or 30-some hours that we're together? Wow. Okay, and another comment. Thank you, Scott.
I was really interested to see about the service learning and what all is going on with that and the opportunities to tie that into multiple classes, but not just the academic aspect of that, but as a community college, the monetary value that we're putting back into the community by doing that service learning. So I appreciate what Autumn had to say.
Awesome. Wonderful. And another. Yes.
Neil Bagajong with the Columbus campus would like to take the growth mindset and although it's applied in the classroom, take it to student life outside the classroom with co-curricular learning and applied learning, and also how we take growth mindset and how we interact with our colleagues as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Neil. Do I have another? Now, I heard all that chatter out in the hall, so I know there's a lot of it. Okay.
I'll really have to. I'm Sonia Jordan. I'm from the Terre Haute campus in academic advising. And I really took away a good opportunity for networking and learning about leadership skills. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to get to better know my colleagues from other campuses.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we have one more. Yes.
I'm Annabelle Menifee, Indianapolis campus. What I've learned is if we seek to be innovative and with strong data, any wild thought can really transcend the student's experience.
Thank you, Annabelle. All right. Well, I'd like, since the others weren't here, could you just demonstrate how much you have thought about the last day and a half you've been here? Can we show them by a round of applause if we think this has been worth it? So, Russ, do we think next year that golden ticket might still apply for those who, okay, so if you're watching, you wish you could have been here with all the cool kids, the way to get here is that golden ticket, right, is one of those ways you can apply, and those lead to great breakout sessions where we share amazing learnings with our colleagues across the state, and I thank you in advance for offering those golden tickets again next year. Well, let me change topics now because you know what's coming up. We are just around the corner from our HLC reaccreditation, 17 days away. Our arguments have been submitted, and we are working with our peer corps members to supplement our submission as they've requested. So every day they're asking for more information about us. All of our mock visits are complete, including one at systems office just last week. Most of us now have had a chance to practice, if you will, and to talk about, I think the practice is how do we tell our story, something we should get better at anyway, but being able to tell that story in a manner that is similar to that which we are going to experience on April 15th. Arrangements are underway for the visit team, so we want to make sure there's hospitality, there are meetings with many of our campus folks, and we want all to learn about the work here. When we next speak, the visit will actually be complete, and we'll be looking for all the valuable results that we gain back and can glean from that visit. So here's what's left to do. 3 things. Please, everybody be with me on this. First, review the documents that were distributed. The assurance argument, student and community comments. Those student comments are priceless. There's a lot of them, and they will humble you. There are many good things, but there is much constructive feedback in there for us to hear directly from our students. And we want to also look at the potential visit questions. Continue to practice in your teams, on your campus, on your own. Think about how you're going to use those documents and how you will respond if asked questions, and not asked because the group is asked. You need to be able to respond, and how does that question impact your day-to-day work? How you've contributed to the strategic plan, for instance, and how you use data in your work are all examples of the kinds of things they don't want vague answers. They want to know your answer. So the more we practice, the better our answers are, and the more confident we are in responding to our peer reviewers. Second, make sure that any unanswered questions you have about your role in this are answered. You can do this by speaking with your supervisor and others on campus involved with planning the visit. I know there's a champion on every campus. You can talk to your chancellor. You can talk to Marcus or Kara or any one of us. And finally, this is what you tell your kids before something big in their lives: be confident. We all should put our shoulders back, be proud of what we've done this past 10 years, and just share our story. Be ready to tell those stories. Be enthusiastic. Show our visitors the best side of the college. Our preparation has been going on for a long time, so you should feel good about where we are. I certainly am. The college and I are so grateful for how you will, in advance, represent Ivy Tech and how we will rise to this very important occasion. So last month I shared with you, turning the page, a little bit of an update on the progress for the systems office restructure, and we shared drafts of the systems office mission statement and restructure objectives. We've been able to share those in greater detail throughout our systems office team that met in February, and staff had some really rich feedback during those discussions, and so we amended the mission statement to better reflect what our role at systems office is and to recognize the importance of operational support provided statewide. So I'm just going to quickly read the new mission statement. Systems office supports, collaborates, and partners with campuses, empowering students to achieve academic and economic success, and employers and communities to have the talent necessary to thrive. We do this through collaboration with stakeholders in development of strategy, creativity and innovation, leveraged expertise, talent development, operational support, and statewide resource stewardship. We also fine-tuned the systems office overarching objectives, highlighting a few of those, including highlighting the focus on students, saying, with students at the core, we focus on translating opportunities and external expectations into action. We will continue to meet as a team, and I'm meeting individually with folks on my cabinet to continue dialogue and refinement of what will be the recommendation. I'm very pleased with the very careful and future-oriented approach that we're taking by all involved, and I will be planning to share a full systems office restructure recommendation with the state board at their June meeting. Okay, one more, turn the page. Career Development Future State. Let's discuss next the Career Development Future State project. Goal 4 of our strategic plan, as you know, is to have students placed in and succeed in high-demand, high-wage jobs. The strategies supporting that include increasing the work and learn opportunities for all programs relating to those high-wage, high-demand jobs, engaging employers to ensure job placements meet workforce needs, focusing career development on placement of students in high-wage, high-demand jobs. So we have had a great team of career development professionals across Ivy Tech doing the work, 18 in total, but as you can imagine, that is under-resourced with 100,000 students, limiting the college's capacities to successfully implement these strategic initiatives. What do I mean by under-resourced? There's just not enough. There is just not enough professionals on campus and the technology to support. So, adding to that challenge, we know from employers that they want us to do more here. We know we need to do more for our students, for our communities, for our employers, and the state. With that in mind, a year ago, we launched a project to help us figure out how we might improve this important but underrepresented area of Ivy Tech. We partnered with Ascend Indiana, the talent development function within the CICP, Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, who worked with us to determine what our career development could look like for students and employers in the future. The Future State has been developed, and it came about after a year-long research and design process involving cross-functional working groups with representation from many campuses and systems office. Over the course of those workshops, stakeholders identified series of solutions intended to measurably impact student understanding of valuable career paths and attainment of those meaningful work and learn experiences, employment, and wages. Career development will transform into the Office of Career Coaching and Employer Connections. Through this redesigned career and employer-related support infrastructure, the new Office of Career Coaching and Employer Connections will facilitate an increase in individualized career coaching, student internships, and other work and learn experiences, career placement, and ultimately wages of our students. You see the wheel up here, our pinwheel, if you will. Under that new Office of Career Coaching and Employer Connections, career readiness will become an integral part of the student's journey at Ivy Tech. Each student will have a career action plan alongside their academic plan. So what is a career action plan? What will it include? Well, it's really experiential milestones that allow the student to progress over multiple iterations. For example, an associate degree seeking student will complete all of the following exercises upon the completion of every 15 hours, like creating and refining their resume and LinkedIn profile. And oh, by the way, how many out here had a really good resume the very first time? Raise your hand. Okay, for those watching, I saw like 2 hands. It just isn't the first time. So every 15 hours, they are creating, then updating their resume and LinkedIn profile, and participating in ongoing employability skill development, including meeting with employers, performing mock interviews each 15 hours, completing 1 or more work and learn experiences each 15 hours, and engaging with multiple employers. In fact, we believe that that will help many of our students who don't have the social capital that we have to gain that through that LinkedIn and through meeting employers and through their multiple experiences. So what's next? While the framework for the redesign is in place, many details need to be developed as we prepare to move forward. We will be convening cross-functional teams to develop those details, including a team to help determine which campuses will participate in the first phase. A resource toolkit and technology solutions group. We plan to have somewhere in the range of 4 to 6 campuses in that pilot year that will actually launch their offices of career coaching and employer connections as part of an initial alpha implementation in late fall or into the late 2019. Goal 4 strategy teams also will be established to support deeper dives into areas of work to be developed like career coaching, that work and learn, placement, infrastructure, and data needs. Lastly, our Senior Vice President of Workforce Alignment, Chris Lowry, and I are leading the philanthropic and legislative funding asks. Yes, that means raising the money to do this, because we will need new investment for this. Our focus will be on significantly increasing campus and institution-wide capacity to support an integrated career preparation experience for all of our students. With the new Office of Career Coaching and Employer Connections, Ivy Tech will create a framework that can be a national model. It'll probably be a national model for all colleges. We know it will be for community colleges, but from what we've seen, all colleges across the nation, effectively serving our students, employers, and communities. And as we've gone through updating our strategic plan, we actually emerged, and I'm excited to share, a goal 8 for our strategic plan. Not that 7 aren't enough, but I will tell you, this is a groundswell in our college to want to lean into a goal 8 called diversity, equity, and inclusion. What do you think of that? I responded the same way. I actually had my brother-in-law had passed, and I wasn't able to be at the strategic planning retreat when they were there, and I was driving to the funeral, and I get a text, and it's from Krista Moreland saying, "Can we add a goal 8? I said, "Really? Like we don't have enough?" No, she said, the group, 100 people in that room, how many of you were in that day? Raise your hands, you're here. Said, we need this. And I said, okay, I'm all in. And we, as a college, are all in on doing this. So, though Ivy Tech has made great progress, I won't say great, we've made good, measured progress with intentional focus on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's much more to do. And having it as a goal creates the accountability and the system that will bring it to a renewed level of excitement and sustained commitment. And you know, we're living those other 7 goals. We need to live this one equally. So it's not done yet. It is named, but here are the next steps. Over the next couple months, we'll be holding strategy mapping sessions with cabinet, diversity leads, executive council, and across our campuses. Once we get through that, we will get much more feedback through our campuses on your input and how we refine these maps and our actions and strategies going forward. In June, our goal is to present that to our State Board of Trustees for their affirmation as well. And then upon that, we will develop the strategy teams, which I hope many people here and watching will want to be involved with as we move forward with intentionally and with ever greater commitment, move this goal forward. So we have received amazing positive feedback. When the word went out in your emails, a couple of weeks ago, I keep getting people saying thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're looking forward to moving this forward. All right, I think I get to sit down. So now I'm excited to transition next to our panel. And our provost, Kara Monroe, is going to moderate us today. And we will have some questions that were provided earlier by audience out here and for the panelists to respond to. So, Kara, come on up. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. That was a little lackluster, you all. Let's try that again. Good afternoon, everybody. Good. So what we're going to do today is we have Megan and Sarah. They're going to run the microphones around. So if you'd like to ask your question out loud, you can just raise your hand, and we'll go back and forth between handwritten questions that were submitted earlier and those read out loud. So if you have a question here in the audience, if you'll raise your hand, they'll come to you, and I'll start with one of the ones that's written. So our panel today includes our president, Sue Elsperman, Andy Bound, our senior vice president and chief operating officer, Dr. Emily Bobo, our statewide faculty council chair and the department chair of fine arts and humanities, professor of English at our Bloomington campus, Jenny Leonard, the director of academic advising in Kokomo, and Dr. Deanna King, the vice chancellor for academic affairs, the Terre Haute campus, and Chad Bolser, the chancellor of the Richmond campus. Thank you to all of them. Would you give them a round of applause for doing this? They don't know what any of the questions were, and there was just a tiny amount of anxiety about that before we started. So, all right, so I'm going to start with the first question. This is from Amanda Owen from our Indianapolis campus. For those working at a campus, what have been the reactions to the PIN process for registration, otherwise known as the required academic advising on campus? So, Jenny, you want to go first?
So the PINs, I love PINs and how it drives us in to have important conversations with their advisor. Sometimes a student comes in and they say, I just need to have my PIN number. And a student said that once, and it was right outside my office door. And I said, well, they all just say they need to have their PIN number. And the student heard me, and she was like, I just need my PIN number. But she sat down, and we were talking about applying to a competitive program, and we were talking about the nursing application process and the TEAS test. And she was like, I didn't know any of this. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't have known any of that if she hadn't come in saying, I just need a PIN number. And right. So those are some of the conversations that PIN number helps to create for us. There's a lot of nerves about requiring PIN numbers for all programs because that's a lot of students. That's a lot of, that's a lot. And can we manage that? And I believe that we can, and we've been talking a lot about the tools that we can use. We have a great report in Newt for academic completion plans that we're going to include PIN numbers in. Campuses are strategizing as to how on their campus can they proactively provide PIN numbers to students who are following an approved academic plan in good academic standing. They are not in any sort of SAP warning. And can't we just give them their PIN number because they've met with us? They have a plan. They're following their plan. They're doing well in their classes. Can we give that to them? And yeah, sure, let's do that. But the students who are academically dismissed, they are applying to a program and they might miss their application deadline. We want to have those conversations, and that PIN number is going to create that for us.
Very good. Anybody else want to add to that?
I think I would add that across the state, faculty and staff want to do the best that they absolutely can for students. And I do believe there is some fear out there with some that worry about, can we meet the access and give access to students for those PINs. So I do think there is that worry, and that's something that we have to work together across the state on every campus. I think all of us attended a school at some point in time that they had a PIN, and you might have just been handed a PIN and you didn't talk to anyone. So I think we just have to be aware of that this will come with bumps in the road, and we all just have to continue to work through those.
Excellent. Good point, Deanna. I don't see any questions here in the room yet, so I'll go ahead and go with the next question. This one doesn't have a name or a campus to it. So what or when can we expect an update on the campus status, i.e. sites to campuses and campuses to other levels? Hi,
I'll take that one.
Okay.
So we have spent, we laid it out a little over a year ago, and We have campuses that are what we call rising and falling campuses, and we expect that this summer that we will have the formal announcement of this is the outcome of our first round.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Still no questions here in the room, so I will go ahead with the next one. This one is from Leanne, I think it's Routh from the Fort Wayne campus. Leanne, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Does the campus funding model take into consideration the number of low-income, high-risk students at each campus, and is additional funding to serve these students built into the campus budgets? Chad, would you mind taking that one first?
Yes. There is an equity index that we utilize as a part of the budgeting process, and that depending upon a lot of factors for each individual campus. And so the campuses are ranked in a particular area and may receive a little bit additional funding depending upon their equity index.
Keep going. Can we turn on Sue's mic, please? There we go.
So we look at really three pieces. What's the unemployment in that community? Right. What are the wages, the wages of the community, and the educational attainment are the three factors. And if you have higher unemployment than other places in the state, and if you have lower wages, and if you have lower educational attainment, you actually get more funding, which is what we think is our commitment as a community college to ensure all communities in Indiana can have a chance at that prosperity. And it does take, we understand, and I think we agree, that it takes more resources to serve that first generation lower income student, which is what we're about.
Yeah. I would just add that one of the great things about being on the campus and the budgeting process for it is the process of creating priority and finding where the most need is for your campus. Now, everybody on a campus says, my area is the area of priority, and so we understand that. But I do think and I think the Richmond campus would say, we have utilized the simplex process, we have utilized a creative process in order to develop those priorities and hopefully meet the funding needs that are necessary to serve the most students in the best way that we can.
Very good. I'm trying to flip through the questions so we could make sure we get to hear from all of our panelists a couple of times. So I'm going to go with the next one. And Deanna, I think you might be the best person to answer this to start with. So what is the progress on the online academic unit, or the OAU? Could you provide us an update on that?
I can.
Thank you.
So the OAU Vice Chancellors of Academic Affairs just recently received a new timeline. The rubric that will be used to evaluate faculty is coming out. There will be a process for faculty, full-time or adjunct, to submit an application if they are interested in teaching in the OAU. There will be a 3-step process in the way that courses are given out. In the first round, we will be making sure that all full-time faculty who have taught online classes in the past as part of their load will have an opportunity to still do that. There will be a limit of 50% of a full-time load for faculty to teach online. So that will be round one. We will take care of the full-time faculty. And then in round 2, we will use the rubric to make sure that our best online instructors are getting assigned courses first, and that will be adjuncts and full-time both in that pool. It will be based on the ranking from the rubric. And then the third round is the last round, and it is being held because we're estimating how many sections that we need statewide. So we will hold back some sections that will not automatically get assigned in that second round to make sure that we don't over-assign. And we also know that as we get closer to the semester starting up to a day before or 2 days before, sections change, instructors change, adjuncts call and say they can't teach and we have to start scrambling. So we want to make sure that we still have courses available to take care of those emergency type needs.
Very good. Very good. Anybody want to add anything else to that? I know Sue, Andy, you serve on those teams. Emily, anything from faculty council discussion? Okay. Emily, this one I think will probably be best to start with you. What discussions or policies are happening in terms of faculty course loads and or pay switching from 16 to 8-week courses?
Talked about that yesterday at our statewide faculty council meeting, and we are trying to address different approaches to faculty loading given our new 8-week model. We want to make sure that we are building solutions for the new model and not building solutions for the old model, which will then be future problems. And we are looking at putting together a subcommittee to start work in the summer and start with fact-finding and then building from there. On the pay, was that the second part of the question? So are we talking about the 12-month pay and 9-month pay?
Why don't you just, I think, give a little bit of a summary about some of the discussion that's been happening in faculty council about pay?
So we talked about how we've changed the pay schedule. You could opt before to be paid out over 12 months for your 9-month contract, and that has been changed, and how that affects faculty who are trying to budget for the summer. We talked about how there are some anxieties about summer load and the OAU and how that affects it and how that affects our anxieties about the pay schedules. So there will be a committee to look at that. We also talked about sick leave and how right now faculty have to take 4-hour increments for sick leave. You can't just take one at a time. And so that was something that we got some movement on yesterday. And so we're hearing about that soon. But to try to get that so that you can just take 1 hour at a time and not have to take 4. We also are talking about sick banks. I mean, there's a lot of things that we are discussing and advocating for faculty and having good collaboration across the state.
Anybody want to add anything to that?
I just want to affirm, I want to thank Emily. Emily, thank you for your leadership as chair. Thank you for those who are serving on faculty council. Yes, you can give her a big round of applause. It is a big responsibility, and we are making movement, and we are studying things together, and we are trying to figure out what is best. We know, faculty, you are our most important resource at this college, and yes, we're all important, but but if we don't care and develop and support faculty, we're not going to be the great community college we want to be. So thank you, and thanks to all those who are serving. It's been a joy to work with, and we're making, I think, good improvements, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay, so this one will start going to anybody, and Sue, I think you'll probably want to start this one, but it can go to anybody. So why was Goal 8 just added to the plan? You talked a little bit about that in the brief update. And will there be a true push to make diversity a priority statewide? We have learned today about initiatives that were dedicated to diversity, but the funding was pulled. So would you mind starting with that one?
So let me just answer it this way. How many of you think we've kept our foot to the pedal on the strategic plan? Let me know if you think you've seen us make movements that way. That applause would be better if you're on the thing. Okay. So I will tell you, if you use that as the bar, making it its own standalone goal, I guarantee you we will. Now, we're always resource constrained, but we know where to go to get resources. There are partners out there. We don't have to do everything ourselves. There are grants. There's philanthropy. There are things we can do when these things are important. You see us doing that on the career work that we're doing. So, yes, you have my commitment. As long as I have your commitment to be as serious about it, we will be. As a college, my commitment is we will be. And anyone can add to that.
Go for it.
Yeah, I would just say, for those who were in the room on the day that this was brought up, I think there are two things. We all know that strategic plans, and in a lot of organizations, they are a static thing that come in. They are told to you. They are put on a shelf. And then we wait until that date arrives where we will get a new strategic plan. To have a dynamic situation in which over 100 people who I make this joke from time to time about Ivy Tech is we have a difficult time maybe agreeing that it's Friday. And 100 people said out loud, we have to go this direction. And it wasn't one of those things where people were saying it, they were applauding. There was an energy that was palpable. And I was tremendously proud of that group, and I was tremendously proud that I was a part of a process where we didn't just talk about a dynamic living document and process. We were actually a part of it. And we didn't say, hey, here's a great idea, now this is what it is. We said, here's a great idea, and oh, by the way, we're going to have to build it. That is, in my opinion, it's the backbone of the operation, and it's why we do what we do.
And it's really the we and how might we. Mm-hmm. We can do whatever we want to do, and that group was clear that we want to go there. So this is a great opportunity to fully be where we want to be in serving and having that diversity, inclusion, equity as a part of our core value.
So I'm going to continue with a follow-up to that question. And I think we've got a question over here, so if you guys want to head that direction. Will goal number 8 have initiatives to hire people of color proportionate to the student population per region? And I'll just add to that. That question's from Lois Treeman in Richmond. What are you doing already on your campuses to try to help meet those goals for those of you on campuses or at systems office? So I'd love for you guys to talk about that question for a second.
I'll be more than happy to
All right, Chad,
talk
we'll
about
let
it.
you do that.
Yeah, I mean, we like to talk.
Yep.
And thank you, Lois, for the question from Richmond. I would just say I think that will be a part of the goal, and I think, to be honest with you, it's being built. So this idea that right now we know we're going to add an additional goal. The idea will be that this process will be built, and I think that's an important aspect to every part of our strategic plan. And I would just say on campuses, I think our recruiting efforts, if we are honest, have not been where they need to be. I think we need to own that before we can get better at it. And so I think each individual campus has to look at themselves and ask the question of how we can do it and how we can leverage a statewide process and institution like we have to better to make a better path for each individual campus. So there's certainly work to be done. We have progress that we have to make, and I think the call out of this goal will put it, just as we do with enrollment, retention, completion, all these. It's going to put this out there. It's going to be aspirational. It's going to be, my guess is, it's going to be a stretch goal, and it is something that we have to do if we're going to be the community college we want to be.
And I guess to build on that, I'm going to go now the student route. And so much of the conversation that day and that we've been having over time really is about the equity gaps, right, in terms of outcomes for students, their success outcomes. And we're seeing at colleges that are doing exemplary work. We saw it from Odessa. They have closed the achievement gap across student groups, and we have
Absolutely.
Our fellow Hoosiers need us to do that, and so we're absolutely committed to doing that. And as a part of that, we need to make sure that our faculty and our staff, our leaders across our campuses and in systems office reflect the beauty and diversity of the population of students and communities we serve. And so I can tell you from my perspective, we are absolutely committed to doing the right thing there and increasing not only the diversity, but the inclusion and closing the equity gaps across the college.
And we will set concrete metrics. And we look at those every month. We live by them. We arrange our resources according to them. So I don't know what those numbers will be today. Right. I will know in a few months because we're going to get there together. And then I fully expect that we hold each other accountable to moving in those directions, to achieving those metrics.
Okay, Yolanda?
I want to comment and applaud you for Goal 8. I think it's really important. I think we got dinged on that 10 years ago when the HLC was here, and we not really had any real movement towards that, so I applaud you. I would like to see if the group that works on that have some diversity from different levels.
Absolutely. Yay! Of course. Are you volunteering, Yolanda?
I would definitely volunteer for that.
But listen, I only say that half in jest. If you really want to be a part of it, please. I mean, there's going to be the goal team, and then there's all those strategies. There's all the work on each campus, so there is going to be plenty of engagement to go around. But I think I have your name now.
You got it.
Thanks, Yolanda.
And I want to make a comment about, so we were talking at our campus about education. For instance, the PhD. At one time, some campuses do pay for you to get your PhD, and at one time, our campuses paid for you to get your PhD, but they only pay at this level, and everybody at this level happen not to look like me. So people like me don't get an opportunity to take advantage of or have the opportunity to have education reimbursement. I think that's really important. If you want me to be able to go to a VC, we talked about equity, and Greg, with equity with students, there need to be equity for education for our faculty and staff. Thank you.
Good. Awesome feedback.
Excellent. Very good. All right. This is from Ann O'Connor at Greencastle. With 8-week classes, will faculty be required to teach more classes? Deanna, will you take that first?
So what we have seen in Terre Haute is we are not requiring faculty to teach more classes. They still have the same load guidelines that they had before. What we are seeing, some faculty may have 2 8 weeks in the first 8 and 2 in the second, and they may have a 16-week with that, or they may have 3 8-week courses and then 2 8-week courses, but it has not changed the load. We still use the policy, the standard loading policy, so that has not changed anything.
Anything to add, Emily?
And this is something that faculty are talking about across the state, and it's part of our faculty loading discussion, trying to decide how do we approach writing intensive courses in the 8-week format? How do we approach courses that have high contact hours with labs and clinicals, and how do we make that a fair and not pleasant, but a good working environment, allowing faculty to have a work-life balance, right, and to be fair in that approach.
Dr. Clunas reinforced that yesterday. I think we all took a lot of good things away from her talk. So, this is from David in Lafayette. Any plans to set enrollment deadlines earlier with the move to 8-week classes? Rumor has it that Odessa's deadline is several weeks out. Who wants to talk about that one? It's okay if you want to applaud a question.
So,
you're welcome to do that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So here's my deal. Some of the faculty have heard my thing. When we can help our students behave like Southwest Airlines, and when you get in the A group and you're A15, you line up and you get on the plane, because you want the best seat in the house. We have some behaviors to work on. And then, absolutely, it'll just happen because everyone will be in the A group. Yep. No one wants to be in C. I've been in the C group before when I forget to advance register. It's terrible. You're in the middle seat between 2 people who are bigger than you are. Anyway, so it is, there is an opportunity here, but we've got to help. Yeah. We've got to help our students advocate for themselves to be in the A group when they're ready, when they can qualify, when they're upperclassmen, they're getting close to completing. We've got to help them see the advantages of being first. And then, I'd love to be there.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that? All right. This is from Eric Bumbelow in Bloomington. What resources exist for faculty to improve our teaching? What accountability exists to ensure quality teaching? Who wants to start with that one?
Okay, I'm going to try here so you guys can jump in. So, again, this is one of those things that I think is different on every campus as far as professional development for faculty goes. It becomes part of budgeting and figuring out how we can provide as much professional development as possible with limited funds. I will say one of the things in Terre Haute that we have tried to do more of is spend our money on speakers coming into campus that we can have all of our faculty attend those sessions instead of only being able to send 4 or 5 people somewhere to professional development. So unfortunately, I do think it's different campus by campus how that's structured and who gets to go.
Well, we have the Student Success Summit, and it would be nice if we could start getting more and more people to come. This is my first, so I'm enjoying it so far.
Good.
But there's also, I think that the faculty councils are picking up professional development on the individual campuses. Also, some of the greatest lessons that I've had are from observing my colleagues. So, and you can do that for free anytime. And I have learned some of the best teaching practices from the people who are working across the hall from me and who have been doing this job longer and better than I have and can give me their best secrets, right? So we are our own best resource in that teacher training element, I think.
Good. Good. All right. We're going to have this be the last question, and then I'll hand back over to Sue to wrap up today. And this person didn't put a name on it. It's from one of our campuses. There has been a lot of focus on meeting the students where they are and being student-focused, but there has not been a focus on wraparound service programs statewide in some of our campuses. So, Sue, this question was specifically to you, but I think many of the panelists will want to add on to it. How important are wraparound services to Ivy Tech's strategic plan and implementation statewide?
Well, I'll tell you, they're goal 1, strategy 1, to provide the services our students need to be successful. So, yes, they're important. Aunt Bertha, the new Ivy Assist, is a great example of that, which is to make us aware so we can help our students be aware of all the resources that are out there. So you'll be hearing more about Ivy Assist as a tool. And I will tell you, I know each of the campuses are doing pretty amazing things. And in our foundation, we are undertaking our capital campaign. I say it's a human capital campaign. There's almost no hard capital in it like buildings. It is all about people. It is almost all about supporting our students. And these are the programs that we know we have partners in our communities who want to help us do them. So we should not be shy about going out and asking. And that includes at the systems office level, but many of these resources are in your communities themselves. And a conversation with the Lilly Endowment people was, please, Ivy Tech, don't try to duplicate every resource that's in your community. If it's already there, we need to make our students familiar with it being there. And where it's not there and we need to do more, then we should do more. So that we just need to balance that appropriately. And boy, the Amarillo College, what an example of leaning in. Yes, give them a big round of applause. And what I took away, their advocacy center, it looked like our really cool bookstores. We have to help our students understand that what they're experiencing is normal.
Right.
If they don't have all they need, if they're low income, if they're experiencing challenges, it's normal. You don't have to feel alone. We will help you. Right. We want to help you, and there are resources out there to help you. So it's great opportunity.
And I'd love for some of you on campus. Jenny, go ahead.
So one of the things that is fairly new in Ivy advising, so if you are a faculty advisor, an instructor, an academic advisor, you have a caseload in Ivy advising, and now your wraparound services coordinator on your campus has access to Ivy advising as well. And you can create a referral to that individual so that they know to reach out to the student and to give them help. I think advisors often see these students, and instructors see these students, but they show up when they're already failing, or they've already failed and they're losing their financial aid. And so it's just really important when we start to see those flags pop up and we say, hey, what's going on? You know, you've been missing class. Your instructor says you haven't been there for a couple of weeks. Is everything okay? And suddenly they're like, no, my mom passed away and I've been dealing with all this stuff and I can't pay for all of these things. And they are emotionally and financially just drained. And so being able to make that referral and have that person immediately make themselves available. Our wraparound services coordinator in Kokomo is Danny McQuaid, and I can't tell you the number of times that I have I enter, what are you doing right now? And she's like, oh, well, I'm about to walk to this meeting. Do you want me to meet you in a hallway? And I stop her in the hallway with a student, and I'm like, let's set up an appointment. And it's so helpful that the student has that. So.
And I'm gonna be really kind to Chad and give him the last word here in just a second, which is something I don't normally do.
That's a big mistake.
I know it is. But we saw in the Innovation Day that one of the winners was from Muncie with the Ivy Care package, which is a little different. But Chad, would you talk about Ivy Cares, which is a wraparound service program?
Ivy Cares on Richmond I really do think for our campus and our space it has really hit a sweet spot. It is embedded within our student services. It is manned in large part by student workers, which the line that just hit home yesterday was to ensure that you can meet student need without embarrassment. This idea that you can normalize that scenario and provide services and educate and meet them where they are. I really believe that those models, and it does show in our metrics. It shows in the number of students when they're enrolled, a month out, 2 weeks out, 2 weeks after. We have seen the impact directly of those wraparound services to enrollment and retention, and I just can't say enough. And the best part about it is I say that idea was born out of faculty saying and staff saying we need to do something, and it's been great, and we work on it all the time.
Very good, thank you. Thank you to all of you for submitting questions. I hate that we didn't get to all of them, but I know you also want to get home, so we'll keep that in balance. Would you please join me in giving our panel a big round of applause and thank you. Okay, so we're going to make my thing really, really short because I know we have some closing announcements. So the only thing I really want to, you have been wonderful, those here, those who have been listening, thank you very much for being a part of the President's Update. So I'm just going to say, mark your calendars for April President's Update on Friday, April 26th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those leaving the summit today, please travel safely back to campus and home. And for all of our faculty and staff today, thank you for watching and have a great weekend. And the rest of you can't leave yet. Have a great weekend.